Hello and hello and hello. Welcome to Botsang episode number 5 of the Wine Evening with the Bee. Many people have talked about decanting wine and where wine is being decanted and what kind of decanters to use. Again, I'm not an expert in that. I just love wine. And I have decided today that I'm going to talk about storing the wine and decanting the wine before you consume it. I've got my bottled Pinotage, and if you look down here, I have three different kinds of decanters, and obviously my goblet. Every time I drink a good wine, a Pinotage for that matter, or a Merlot, I use a goblet, and especially when I'm home alone, and I don't want to be disturbed and want to enjoy my wine. But why do people decant wine? Depending on why you store your wine. You decant your red wine because you want to take and make sure that the sediments in the wine, due to transportation, due to storage or aging, is being taken care of. Now, the golden rule that many people who are sommeliers or who are connoisseurs are saying, they will tell you that don't ever open a bottle of wine, even if you can't, that has just been transported. So if you've had wine that has moved, transported, keep it for a few days before you open it, because the movement and the transportation, it does disturb the wine. It does have an effect on the tannins as well as the sediments in the wine, and to some extent the oxygen and the water in the wine. Yes, farmers and producers and cultivators have done very well to try and remove as much water as possible from the grapes and from the wine, but depending on how you store your wine. Traditionally, we store our wines in cellars. This is not a cellar, this is a wine rack. We store our wines in a horizontal way. So for people who have wine cellars and they store their wines in a traditional horizontal way, it is advisable that actually, if your wine is aged, and stop playing marbles, guys. Don't go and decant the wine that is 2 years old. You don't have to do that. It's for aged wine, well-aged wine, a wine that is between 10, 14, 15, 20 years, or even older. I've got a bottle of a Pinot Noir in the house that is a 1972 vintage year bottle. I'm intending to drink it on my 50th birthday. Please don't talk too much. You don't know when it's my 50th birthday. I'm still young. And I obviously will decant that wine the day I want to use it, or I will use a Coravin corkscrew just to extract a glass of wine from that wine and enjoy my evening or my 50th birthday. But that is in future, that is not now. So if you store your wine in a horizontal way, the advice is, before you drink it, especially an old aged wine, if you've got a bottle of 2000, the year 2000, of a Merlot or a Cape Sauv or any other red wine, it is advisable that when you remove it from your cellar, and if it was stored properly and not disturbed, and it was not exposed to light or to wrong temperatures, you must try and keep it vertically first before you open that wine. Try and keep it for 2 or 3 days. If you know you're going to have it for Sunday lunch, on Friday after work, remove that bottle from your wine cellar and keep it vertically for 2 or 3 days before you use it. That is advisable. Go and ask the experts. I'm just sharing and imparting knowledge and information that I acquired along the lines of collecting wine. So I see many people, they go and decant their wines. I've got these 3 decanters. I have 4 actually in the house. I don't like the 4th one. It's very old, so I don't want to embarrass myself. I received these 2 glamorous ones this week as gifts. Those who follow me on social media, they will have seen this one. I received it 2 days ago. It's too beautiful. It's very complicated. I don't like complicated stuff, but it's beautiful. It's okay. I've used it. I love it, but it's not practical for me. I don't want to be clumsy and be worried about putting it down and so forth. And this is my traditional decanter that I love very much. I've been having this for quite a number of years. It works perfect for me. It's classical. It works for me. A little bit heavy. And the new baby of the house, I got this from a very special friend who actually encouraged me to start a YouTube channel talking about cooking and wine and decanting and all those things. He said, share your knowledge. You may not be an expert, but Mapula Motokanis got this for me. I don't know. She's not a wine person. I think she just loves the way I love wine. And she got this for me today. So I'm going to this. Now, I'm going to show you something. When you pour your wine, obviously I'm not going to go and hold this bottle the way I've taught you the last time. This is the proper way of handling a wine bottle. Okay? So if I pour to the glass, the bottle must never ever come in contact with the glass. That's how you pour your wine. Okay? That's it. But hey, my friend, let us not get things complicated. I'm not going to take this bottle of wine and start pouring it into a decanter in a very complicated. I can do it. I can. That can happen. Let me tell you what happens. If you are decanting your aged wine, this is not an aged wine. This is for demonstration. This is a 2016 Lavinier. I don't really have to decant it. I just want to use my decanter. But if it was a 2000 bottle, I would have put it in the decanter, go and take a shower, and come back and enjoy my wine. Now, I can still do that. But once you do this, there is oxygen between the bottle as well as the decanter and the wine. So the wine gets disturbed. Oxygen goes in, and a lot of complicated stuff happens in there. And that's not my way of decanting. I don't prefer to do it that way. But I've seen a lot of people on television and radios and doing their decanting their wine in that particular manner or fashion. It's fine, they can do that. Complicated for me. Nice decanter. And this is the way I do it, and this is the way I prefer. It's easy, it's not complicated. A fat maybe thing I want start on summer medicine. Yeah, I put my wine there with all the complications, the sediments. I'm trying to maintain the aroma. Then to the last drop, don't ever waste a good drop of wine. That's how I prefer to do it. And what I like about this decanter is that actually it's easy for me to can hold it. I can play, I can start showing some karate kicks and chops, and without worrying, I'm more comfortable. Maybe it's because I've been owning it for a number of years, but this is what I'm doing. What am I doing? Decanting the wine. I'm separating the sediments. I'm removing the air, the oxygen, and all the things that we don't want there. Little bit drops of water that may have been formed. Why do I talk about water when water was removed? As you store wine, things happen. As you turn the bottle, the oxygen inside the bottle may disturb the wine. That's why you hear other people going, oh, no, this was not stored properly. This is not good. I always ask people, how do they know? And how do you know? I always tell people, you don't even have to taste wine to know if it was stored properly. When I look at the cork of a wine, this is a young wine. When I look at the cork of wine, once it's an aged wine, and it's ruby here, it becomes very ruby here, then you know that your wine is aged one. Two, you look at the cork. The part that was inside the bottle of a cork, it will be thicker and bigger. Why? Because as the wine was stored horizontally, the cork being the cork and this thing it's made out of sawdust and wood, it sucks the wine. So as it is sucking the wine to the cork, obviously and logically, I may not be a scientist, this will get bigger and bigger. That's why you can't return this cork back into the bottle and you see people putting wine and putting it the other way around. I don't do that. You must get proper tools. You understand? So by looking at this cork of wine, and I can see there's no residuals and wine running on the side, I can tell you that the wine was done properly. There was no air that moved in. It is a young wine, yes, I can see, but I will be able to say this wine is good before I even go to test. And again, don't forget, don't go and use the wrong glass for wine. You can see that this wine is very, look at the filling. Anyway, it's a pinotage, so the filling will be very, very strong and thick and much more visible. But it's a young wine. It's a 2016 bottle. It's a 2016, it's a vintage, yeah. Again, you'll hear many people telling you that, no, the older the wine, especially red wine, the better. There's nothing like that. It depends on the vintage year, whether it was a vintage year or not. For example, I know that 1997 was a good vintage year in South Africa. And some wines of 1995 are not as good as the 1997 one. So it's not about the age. It depends on the cultivation, the storage, and the year. But we have finished talking about decanting. Let me go and enjoy my wine. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. #Botsang.